Welcome back to episode 2 of Building Your Own Asset Library. I already recorded this tutorial and went to edit it, and none of the audio was saved. So we're back here to do this again, but the nice thing is y'all get a sneak peek of exactly kind of what we're going to build today. I have some pretty low poly garbage cans here, easy to make garbage cans. At the back of a scene, this is going to be perfect. Same goes for these dumpsters here. I started with modeling this off of an image, and then I just duplicated it over and changed the material of the actual dumpster to a procedural one. These are all made with fair use images that will be included in the link down below in the description. Let's get into making these. We're going to hit Shift A. We're going to go Image, Mesh Plane. We're going to locate where you saved the images in the description. And I have a few here. I have a couple different images of garbage. I have one image of a dumpster and one image of plastic dumpsters, garbage bins. I also included this one down below, but I ended up not making anything out of it just because it was so skewed at such an angle. We can use it for texture, so feel free to click on that and bring it in as well. So I'm going to come down here, import images as planes, and we have everything kind of added to our scene. First thing I'm going to do is scale these up. I am going to grab these and move them GX over to the side, get them out of the way of our frame so we can start focusing on modeling. Select the image in frame, tab for edit, options, correct face attributes, scroll over down to matte cap, and I like to make sure texture is turned on under our viewport shading. We're going to quickly scale this down on the x-axis, scale down on the z-axis, GZ, and now remember, as you're creating these things, you can make them as detailed and as accurate as you want. I am doing this just to build a low poly asset library for myself, and so what I'm teaching you to do is a low poly asset library. The geometry is going to be a little funky. The UVs aren't going to line up perfectly. These are just going to be stuff that sits at the back of the scene. So keep that in mind as you're going through this series. When you start seeing seams that are a little bit funky, or maybe some of the geometry has some n-gons in it and things like that, that's okay. If you don't like this style of modeling, totally understand. So Control R for a loop cut here, another loop cut here. We're going to go Control R again, and we're just going to create a selection around this. And that way we still kind of keep some quads here. It gives us a little bit more control for later. And I think that that looks good. I am going to hit 2, and I'm going to Alt select this bottom one, GZ. And then I am going to select 2, GZ. I think we will manipulate this a little bit more. We're probably going to create a couple more loop cuts to get this a little bit more round. Let's go Control R, set it right in the middle. I'm going to go Control B for bevel, and I'm just going to drag this out to like right there. Now I'm going to hit 1. I'm going to make sure that I'm in front-facing mode here. I'm in 1 for that vertex select mode, and I'm going to start moving these around in ways that seems kind of funky, I'm sure. It slides it just right along that path. GG. GG. I kind of like this one here, but we might actually bring this down. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I'm probably going to take this and this without this one, drag these down. This one, GG, down just like that. These two actually might slide out a little bit. GX to about there. And then I might scale them on the Z axis. GZ, bring it down. G, 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 Z. That should be good. Now let's just get this very, very top section here. G. And we'll just manually start putting this down. This does not need to be perfect. I kind of sped through that last bit of editing. What I remember being important here was having things sectioned off correctly, just to keep things square, because we will be adding a subdivision surface modifier to this that will be helping round out a lot of the corners. This is kind of the base that we want. We want to be able to take these 3 faces here and extrude them in, but along with Shift Alt select this entire loop around, and with this selected and the outer loop, we're just going to go extrude back. just about as far back as you kind of want it to go. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this inside loop here, and GY, move it back in just a little bit. After that, we're going to hit 2, and I'm going to select this back edge here, and we're going to grid fill this. I have grid fill saved to my quick favorites. You guys can use F3 to search for it. If you don't have it added to your quick favorites, I highly suggest you add it to your quick favorites. It's actually a very useful tool to have. Now, this loop right here, I'm going to go 3, and I'm going to select this loop. One thing that I like about the front side is that it's flipped down, but what I don't like about the back side is that it's flipped up. So what I want to do is take this, and I want to go GZ with proportional editing on. GZ, got to scroll that in. Rotate Y, GZ. Rotate Y. It doesn't have to be quite perfect. I would rather it be a little bit straighter, right? That's what I'm looking for. And now that we have that set up, I am going to select this loop of edges, and I'm going to Alt-E, extrude faces along normals, and just get a nice little loop out like that. Nothing crazy going on here. This, I might go GZ, rotate on the Y-axis, scale on the Z-axis a little bit, G, X, rotate, Y. Just simple, kind of get it standing out a little bit more the way that we want it to look. And this is wonky. I understand what you guys are thinking. That's okay. We're going to make a couple loop cuts here, and we're going to hit 3 and Alt-select that whole interior edge there, and I am going to scale on the Shift Y-axis. We're bringing it out and up a little bit, but that's about it. Hit Tab, and this is not looking bad. It is not looking good either, but we can move forward. This is totally usable. A lot of the last bit of this editing is going to really fall into UVing this to make sure that it looks proper and include some garbage. So to do the garbage here, I'm just going to take this up. I'm going to inset it, I'm going to go extrude Z, and then rotate X like that. And then I'm going to Alt-Shift, select the loop around all of that. Make sure it's not sticking out any of the back or any of the sides. And then we're going to come down here, and we're going to just add one more image. We're going to assign new, and this will be our trash material. Now I'll go through actually making the trash material. We could switch this over to cans. U, unwrap, cube projection. There's our cans, our garbage, looking good, looking fantastic. And tab, I don't mind that not one bit. We can also Control R and add one little loop in here, and then just grab this loop, Control Shift select to there, and go GZ to add a little bit more of a curve there. In fact, we could take that center one and probably bring it up, and then take this back one and bring it up a little bit too. It just adds a little bit more of a curve, a little bit more of a soft edge addition to this. We can bring these edges down. Oh, let's hit O for proportional editing, turn proportional editing off. GZ, there we go. L for link, come down to select linked. We're going to go material. There we go. Now we have our UVs right here. And we can drag, let's go 3 and select, or 4. We can hit 4 here. And that is that material right there. I want to try and get this lined up a little bit more with the front of what we're seeing. And I think it's right there. You can kind of see it. It's just mirrored a little bit, which I think is funny. So I'm going to scale this on the Y-axis, -1. Another way to make sure that things are matching up a little bit better is by pressing 1, selecting these 2 points, and merging I like to go at center. That just works the best. Merge, center. You can also just hit A after you hit the merge button. So this one and this one, merge A. Click this one and this one, merge A, G, Y. And that should fix a lot of the texturing issues. Look at that. Everything is lining up. It's all a continuous image. And we will be able to add bump and things like that into this to make it look more realistic. Moving on to the actual garbage can. I am going to select this loop and this top loop, and that should just select all the way around. The bottom we'll work on later. I just want these to be a little bit more focused. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to go to my garbage cans. This is the one that we just modeled this off of. So let's slide this up. Let's kind of get a little bit better view of what we're working with here. And we can come in here. This is the rendered view. Excuse the voice crack. I'm going to click U, cube projection. This makes it a lot easier. I'm going to go 4G, and we're going to scale this down. This looks like I am grabbing the top scale, so we can scroll up over the top. That looks fine. Now we just need to work on the sides. So this, I'm guessing, is the front. Makes sense. Let's scale this down. Just try and get that lined up a decent amount. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. Hit 1, get the individual vertice mode. Try and get these simply lined up, maybe on a seam in the actual image, so that it looks slightly realistic. Too close to a seam and the subdivision surface modifier can start stretching things. I think it'll start stretching things regardless, but you can get away with a lot. You can get away with a lot here, especially because this is going to be at the back of a scene, right? I mean, look at this. This will not look bad already if it's just in a scene. And now we also have the back. So I'm going to go 3. Oh, we could just hit 4. 4, scale. And here, I'm actually going to scale this on the X-1 axis, just because I feel like that might work a little bit better. And then I'm going to go 1, grab these, G, set those up, G. Yeah, just get that nice and bent, but still kind of slightly following the same edges that the actual image is following. It can add some realistic bends and twists to it's like, oh yeah, the plastic got a little dented there. That's why it's all wacky. And we'll fix that back edge too. That'll look fine. Don't you worry. Now we're going to get these sides fixed a little bit here. Let's go tab, make sure that we're still in tab. Let's grab these two. Let's go 3. I wonder if we can get these two to cube project right on top of each other. I'm going to go U, cube project. Nope. They're going to be a little bit off. That's totally fine. Let's go 4, G. Oh, so close. Now we're going to go with both of them. Shift selected. Bring these down. And I think we can literally just rotate this. G. Problem with this is it is setting the bottom. I might actually go like this. We'll go 1, G. I might take both of these corners here. Shift select, G, Y. Drag them down like that. All, scale, Y. Scale it in. Rotate. Flip it over. Just get this top edge to line up a little bit, because I think that will match a lot better across. You kind of get that plastic edge that's really matching across the whole thing, which helps a lot. Helps sell your model. Cool. Now the next thing I want to do is we're going to select this whole boom, boom, and then just get rid of our previous selection here. And we're going to U, cube. Oh, wait. Probably a faster way to get rid of that selection is to go like this and like this. There we go. Like that. Boom. Fantastic. Now we're just selecting this whole edge, and we're going to go U, unwrap, cube projection. Beautiful. All, scale, G, scale, G. You want to bring it up here, you can bring it up here, scale, tab. Does not need to be perfect. Looks great. Looks fantastic. And underneath here, we have some stretching. We can totally work on that. Shouldn't be really looking up underneath there in the first place, but we can Alt select that, unwrap, cube project, all, scale, just drag it onto here somewhere, tab. No one should be really looking at that area in the first place, but now you've got it covered just in case they are. Now the back. The back is not doing too hot, and that's totally fine. So we're going to select this group of faces here, and wow, yeah, that face right there did not get extruded very well. We will have to fix that. So let's get rid of that. Let's just grab these faces. We're going to go, oh, I did not mean to inset. Control Z. We're going to go U, unwrap, cube projection. There we go. Beautiful. And then I'm going to hit 1 right here. Grab this. I'm going to go GZ. And we're going to make that look a little bit better there. There. That looks great. Tab. And then we can go 3 and we can reselect these faces. That's super simple way to select multiple faces is Shift Control. You click 1 and then you click diagonally where you want to go, and usually should select kind of everything in between. It's pretty good at figuring it out. It won't work 100% of the time, but it works decently most of the time. Now this all scale G, I'm probably just going to bring it right here, to be honest with you. Like that's probably what I'm going to do. This front loop we have not really addressed, and I honestly might go Control R and literally add a loop cut here just to be able to bring this up in the edit here. So we're going to go 3, and I'm going to, this is where the selection will mess up if you try and do it that way. So it's probably easier to just Shift Select the faces that you're trying to grab, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit, it looks like it's already cube projected very well. So what if we went All G Scale? Dude, that's so much better. So much better. And then we just add, yeah, we could just get rid of, like this would be, this is so much easier. You got the trash in there, you got this. We will add some bump to this. We'll make this look decent. We also got to fix the back here. The back does look a little funky. So let's quickly get that done. Tab, boom. Select these faces. U, unwrap, cube projection. All scale, G, scale, G. Scale X, -1. Tab, there's the back of your garbage can. Now, for the real test of how bad the UVs get all messed up, let us now go to here and go add subdivision surface modifier. That looks good. That looks great in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, there's some UV little quirks going on here, but again, that's the way that I had the previous one. We can get this inside UV'd. Let's do that real quick. Let's go tab and let's go boom. I'm not going to select this. That should be fine. And then is that a did I select that whole loop? Let's go U, cube project, all scale, G, boom. That's it. So this truly does not need to be perfect. The back is, you can kind of see some stuff through there. Maybe you can grab those. All G, scale it down, boom. Yellow. You want it to just be yellow. We could just do that too. Yeah. This is sitting at the back of a scene on the side of a sidewalk, right? That is what this is made for. This is not made for close-up. This is 100% made to sit at the back of a scene. Now, to add some detail to it, what you can do, as we've done with almost every single thing I've created out of images in the past, click on this, Shift D, click the number right next to it, color space, non-color, color to a bump height to the normal, strength way the heck down, distance 0.02, and this just adds a slight bit of bump to your lighting here. If you want, instead of this popping out, you can make it inset, and the letters will also be inset. Again, crank this up too much and you're going to lose a lot of that fakeness to it. You're going to start getting a lot of, especially with low quality images, it will start falling apart real quick. But for something that's sitting at the back of a scene, this is great. It adds exactly what you could possibly want to it. And to take this even a little bit further, like you can double up the subdivision surface on this, and it's still super low poly. And as I've already done, you're going to rename this to, organic. Save it as like a organic. Right click it, mark as asset. Saved your project, and then move on to the next thing. It will be accessible in your asset library if you've saved it in the correct folder. I've been through this in previous videos. As you can see, we have all of our previous creations saved in this street assets folder that we made, and that way we can drag stuff in. I love how quick and easy and dirty this was. I'm stoked on it. Let's move on to the next object. Next thing we're going to create is this dumpster. And this dumpster is going to be relatively simple to create. We are actually going to just cut this out with the knife tool. It was the easiest way for me to create it in the last video, and as we are re-recording the last video, we are going to do it the same exact way this time. The way that we're going to do that, we're going to hit tab for edit mode. We're going to make sure we do have correct face attributes on just so that we can move this up and kind of get some things lined up, start it off properly. I am going to head up to grab this top edge and drag it down to here. And we're going to hit this GX, drag that to there, GX, drag that to there. And in edit mode, we are going to, let's make sure that's actually lined up a little bit. I hit up front. I'm going to hit 1, GC, just move that down a little bit. We're going to hit K for the knife tool. And this is going to be pretty tedious. I mean, it's just give it as much detail as you want to give it. I'm going to make it pretty quick. Again, this is a low poly model. So I'm just going to click everywhere that I want there to be a vertice added and an edge added. So even on these wheels down here, I'm not giving too much. I'm really not giving too much detail here. I don't care if they're octagonal. I don't care if they're hexagonal. I'm not even adding the back tires here. I don't need all of that back detail on there. Left click to stop selecting and enter to make the cut. Now I can go 3. I can select this and I select this and I can select this. And I can literally just go X. Delete faces. Now we have kind of more or less a semi-decent crop of our dumpster. And we can literally just extrude this right off of what we just created. This is how I did in the last one. This is how I'm going to do it this time. We're going to go extrude back like this, just about as far as you think a dumpster should go. Pretty much square. And with that done, I am going to go Control R and just do a regular loop cut. We're going to do one loop cut here. Right click to set it in the center. Control B to bevel it off to the sides. And let that go like that. Then I'm going to select with 3, I'm going to select the inside of each of these tires and do it on both sides here. I don't have much geometry on these. I am going to hit X faces on that, and then we can hit 2, select these edges. Should show we're getting the right ones here. Shift Z if you're having issues with the shading. So we know we want these 2 edges. There is the other one right there. Add a face with F, this edge and this edge. Face with F, face, face. And we don't care about triangles. Triangles are okay because no one's getting close enough where the shading is going to matter at the bottom of the wheel on the inside of a garbage can. So we're making some triangles. Face, face, face. View selected. And let's do the same here. Face, 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 and boom, boom, face, face, face. Shift Z. I love that it also already reprojected that same image over. That makes me so happy. So simple. So much work already done. Pretty much all we have to do when it comes to texturing this is the side, and the way that you do that is by reprojecting it from the front. But we also want to add some trash and stuff on the inside here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with 3 selected, select this face. What you can do is you can just inset this and bring it in. That's the easiest way to do it. It's not the cleanest, but dude, this entire front area is a multi-edged N-gon. Like, it's definitely not good topology in the first place. That's okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go inset. I'm going to bring it in like this, scale it on the X-axis, and depending on how much you want to inset it, I mean, you could scale this on the Y-axis actually a decent amount. I'm going to just hit extrude and send it down until it starts coming out the bottom. You just come back up a little bit. Boom. There's that. Tab. 3. Alt select. Alt select. Alt select. Might not want to select those down there because it's fine. It's super simple to fix. Alt select. U. Cube projection. All. Oh, well, let's switch this over to our dumpster scene. All scale. G. And you may ask, Would there really be graffiti over the top of this? No, probably not. People would probably just tag the sides of it, but also nobody's gonna care. We're not here for hyper realism, you guys. I think we've reached that point by now. Now we can make this pop out a little bit. So what I will do here is I will go 1. I wonder if I could join those two. That works. Click this and click this. J for join. Now 3. I can select that face. I can select that face. Alt E. Extrude faces along normals and just send it out. Tab. That's it. Simple. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And that is sick. Now to add detail to this, literally you do the exact same thing we've done to add detail to every single thing we've made. And oh yeah, we're missing a face in there, but you shouldn't be looking in the dumpster in the first place. So let's go with this. U, cube project. Did I cube project or project? No, I did. I cube projected. Okay, all scale. Right click, shade auto smooth. That's fine. That looks great. And then add some trash to this. You can literally, while in edit mode, Shift D, GZ, bring that up because we just selected it from that. I'm going to go I'm going to go right click, subdivide, right click, subdivide, right click, subdivide. I know you can do it faster there. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. And then here, I'm going to come to our shader. I'm going to add a new image or a new texture. And we're just going to choose that same cans texture or any other texture that you had. You come here, come to cans. Boom. Assign. U, cube projection, all scale. O, options, correct face attributes, all scale. And then if you're getting it to where it's turning transparent, then that means go to your shader editor and go from clip to repeat. There you go. And yeah, you're getting some tiling there, but if you just grab some of these with 1, GZ, hit O for proportional editing, GZ, get rid of that one, grab this one and this one, tab, shade smooth, shade auto smooth. There you go. You got some trash. You don't really see the repeating in that. And you could subdivide it again if you wanted to subdivide it again. That's not that big of a deal. Linked, right click, subdivide, tab. A little bit smoother. Happy. Some garbage. And look over in the rendered view. Garbage looks great. Got some little bits of detail in the garbage. We got to come down here to this side, and right now we have it at clip. We got to go to repeat on that as well, and that will add repeating detail across the whole thing. Get that little bit of detail. If you want to do that to the actual picture of your, remove the alpha, Shift D, click the 3, color space, non-color, color, bump height, normal to normal, strength, 0.2, distance, 0.02, and probably invert that. And then that will give you some cool bump lighting detail on your dumpster. It looks really sick. Will be great in some back alley scene that you have, and I'm stoked on it. Now to get the other material that I had on this dumpster. So this is how I made those two items that you saw at the very beginning, right? This is how I made those. They're great. They're easy to throw at the back of the scene, easy to recolor. Nothing crazy. If you want to recolor this one, you just Shift A, add a hue saturation value node to it. Boom. As long as you're on the image of the plastic and you change the hue, you'll be changing the hue of the garbage can. Very simple to do. This, we can Shift D, X, and what I will do is I will switch this over to green dumpster, and we will go through exactly what this is. Now this looks inverted all of the sudden, and I'm wondering why. I think that's because I have this inverted right there. That's fine. So green dumpster here is very simple. What I have here is I have a Voronoi texture. That's all it is. This single Voronoi texture is set to, and let's go like this so that it's very easy for you guys to follow along. And let's go like this so it's very easy for you guys to see what I'm doing. So now I have this selected. I'm going to go like that. Because every time I make these breakdowns of shaders, I always go back and watch them. And I'm like, man, I could have been clearer and people would have understood better. Nodes are strenuous to understand. I have a Voronoi texture. I have the color of and this is set to 4D. smooth F1 Euclidean. The scale, the detail, all of that's just set to my own personal preference, but you can take a screenshot if you want to copy those numbers. I have the color of the Voronoi texture going out into a color ramp. That makes it look like this. The color ramp is just there to crunch it down, to really add some contrast to it. That is the only reason it's there. With that, the color of that first color ramp is going out into another color ramp, which I have set the color of the paint I want, the color of the metal I want, and the color of the rust I want. That's what that first one is doing, that first color one. And that is going straight into the base color of my principled BSDF. The original first color ramp is going into another color ramp here. This is the metallic. This looks like this. All this is saying is, hey, wherever there's white, I want there to be metal, a metallic sheen to the color that's coming through. Wherever there is black, I want a less amount of metallic showing through. That is all that's doing. And then I also have, in the color ramp that is doing my color, coming out of that, I have it going into a black and white. This black and white is going directly into the roughness, which is this doing the similar thing as the metallic is doing, where it's wherever there is a dark, I want there to be less roughness. Wherever there is light, I want there to be a higher roughness. And that is all that is doing, is to try and say, okay, well, wherever there's paint, I want it to be smoother. And wherever there's metal that's been chipped away or eaten by rust, I want it to be a little bit rougher. That is all that is doing. And last but not least, I have that original first color ramp going into another color ramp that is crushing it down a little bit more, and that is going directly into the height of a bump node with a distance of 0.04 at a strength of 0.099 into the normal of the principled BSDF to give all of this detail. The color is showing up where the color is supposed to show up. The roughness is making all of this a little bit rougher than this. This is going to be a little bit shinier than this because this is being eaten away. The metallic is saying make anything down here metallic more so than anything out here. And so the color of that is going into there. And the bump is saying, hey, wherever there's metal, make sure, and rust, make sure it's at a lower level than where the green paint is. Like, the green paint has been eaten away. Wow, words. I hope that makes sense to you. Here is a full screenshot if you want to copy it. It's a very simple shader. It's start messing around with Voronoi textures and any noise texture and a bunch of color ramps going into a bunch of different things. And I swear, if you spend a day just messing around, trying things, you'll figure it out. It's one of the easiest ways to make simple procedural shaders. And this is not that good of a procedural shader. What would look better is if I added image textures in and things like that to add more detail and break it up. But just for the background of a scene, this looks great. It will really make your scene a little bit better. That being said, that is the end of this tutorial. I'm so glad I finally got this out. Again, I spent 2 hours recording this, and then the audio was gone, not recorded at all. I was like, okay, I got to schedule time to go re-record this whole tutorial. And then I ended up getting sick from Thursday of last week till Sunday. And so it was like 4 days straight of just on the couch, in bed, like I could not move. It was so bad. We got this done. I'm so happy. I'm glad that we can move forward. Don't forget, with these 2 other assets that we just made, rename them, right-click them, mark as asset, save your project file, control save, command save. Then you will have access to them inside your asset browser. I got one right here. Mine's a little bit bigger. This is from last week. I got another. There is that one's sideways. That's great. But yeah, until next time, you guys. Wow, this was a travesty of a video. Thanks for bearing with me. Editing this is going to suck.